Rental properties are a big time investment, but you can't watch over them like your stock portfolio. And that's because your tenants have a little something called a right to quiet enjoyment, which basically means that you can't go into your rental property when tenants live there, except in certain circumstances. That lack of access can be a bit nerve-wracking for some landlords, but the good news is that you do have the ability to inspect your rental properties from time to time as long as you follow the right procedures while doing so. In this video, we're going to cover everything you need to know about inspecting your rental properties once you lease them out, including how often you should do so. So with that being said, let's get into it. Welcome back, Loopers. It's Mohammed Obergosh with DoorLoop. First, it's worth quickly reviewing why landlords should inspect their rental properties in the first place. The answer is typically an eye on the condition of the property to ensure it's not damaged beyond normal wear and tear. But you may also have other concerns that make you want to inspect the property consistently. Either way, the move-in and move-out inspections are two of the biggest. They help you assess any damage the tenant may have caused throughout their lease, which is why it's super important to conduct a thorough inspection when a new tenant moves in. Landlords also have the right to conduct safety inspections. These involve testing the smoke alarms, carbon monoxide detectors, and any other safety-related devices in the apartment. And beyond that, there are some cases in which you may be allowed to conduct a routine inspection, but just know that this is typically only done once a year. And for the most part, that pretty much sums up your inspection rights as a landlord. But just know that your rights can vary based on state and local regulations as well. You might think that as a property owner, you're free to access it whenever you want, but this is entirely wrong and could lead to fines and penalties if carried through. That's why a good first step as a landlord is to determine what your legal rights are when it comes to inspections. Once you know these, it becomes easier to plan your inspections strategically to ensure you get to see each of your units as often as you can. That being said, even state laws can be tricky. Many don't give you a concrete number of times you can inspect an occupied rental unit per year. That's because the number is largely based on each of the following factors. The first key factor when determining whether you can inspect a property is the purpose of your entry. It has to be valid in order to satisfy your legal obligations. For example, the move-in and move-out inspections we just talked about are always valid. You can also follow any rules for the inspections that are laid out in your lease with a tenant. For example, if they agree to quarterly or seasonal inspections, you can use those as a valid purpose of entry when you want to conduct an inspection. The big thing that you should try to avoid is drive-by inspections. This involves simply pulling up to the unit in your car without any prior notice and attempting to conduct an inspection. That is unfair to tenants, and it's the kind of action that can leave you open to future fines and penalties. So just keep in mind, when deciding whether you can conduct an inspection, the purpose of entry matters a lot. Another factor in determining whether you can enter your rental property is the relationship you have with your tenant. Of course, the main reason that you need to be cautious about when you visit your rental property is that you have to respect your tenant's rights. But if your tenant is okay with you inspecting their unit, you may be able to do so more often than your legal rights suggest. For example, your lease may only allow for an annual inspection of your unit. But if you have a good relationship with the tenant, they may say it's fine if you want to inspect the property biannually or quarterly. It's another reason why developing a strong professional relationship with your tenant is worthwhile. One last thing you should keep in mind is your tenant's right to quiet enjoyment. This is a legal idea that says the tenant has the right to enjoy the property they're renting out without having to worry about being barged in by the landlord. If you do interfere with a tenant's right to quietly enjoy their property they're renting, that's when you run into trouble. So just keep in mind that if you feel like your inspections are violating this principle, it's best to back off. As a landlord, it's important to keep your inspections to a minimum to avoid violating your tenant's rights. But you definitely have the ability to conduct semi-regular inspections, especially if you have a valid purpose for entry when you attempt to do so. Your relationship with your tenant matters a lot here, and the stronger the relationship is, the easier it should be to inspect your units as often as you like. That's one reason why property management software like DoorLoop can be so valuable. It helps you build strong relationships with your tenants by providing them with a more streamlined rental property experience. You can sign up for a free demo if that's something that you're interested to learn more. But with all that said, we hope you found this video helpful. Don't forget to like and subscribe to see more videos like this, and check out this next video in the playlist. Till next time.